Well, we've seen no justification for this bill because right now, as it stands, if police believe that a serious crime is about to happen in cyberspace, they can get the information they need without a warrant. They can go to the telecom providers and say, we need this information right now, provided that they then come back with a warrant to justify it. What we're seeing is a bill that opens it up to all kinds of fishing expeditions, all kinds of snooping. There's no justification for changing the long-standing provisions, which is that if you have a reason to follow someone, if you have a reason to spy on them, if you have a reason to snoop over their shoulder, then you should make sure that you can go to a judge and explain that.
So what's the purpose of it, though? I mean, you're making it sound like the government's got an ulterior motive. Is that what you think? Like, do you think there's something else behind this? They want to spy on people?
Well, we're seeing an unprecedented bill undermining basic Canadian privacy rights. We're seeing every privacy commissioner in the country raising alarm bells. We're seeing telecom and cell phone companies being told you're going to have to build in actual spyware mechanisms so Canadians can be tracked. Vic Taves has to be honest with Canadians. He has to explain why he's trying to go down this road.
Why do you think so?
Well, I don't really understand what's going on in Vic Taves' head on any given day. But what I see is an attack on the basic rights of Canadians, and I'm going to fight like hell against that.
What's wrong with the argument that changing technology, changing times means you need to keep updating the law, that you can't fall behind? What would be inaccurate with that argument?
What we're seeing here is not updating the law to keep up with the times. We understand the immense problems of cybercrime, cyber fraud. We want to ensure that police have the tools that they need. But we are not about to say, hey, anytime you have a fight with your ex-wife and you want to find out where she's going with on her cell phone, that you can just call up the telecom provider and get that information. That's a huge overstep. We have a system in our country that has existed for decades based on some fundamental principles, the right of privacy, the right of ensuring that there's judicial oversight. This government is using this potential cybercrime to blow away long-standing Canadian provisions. So let's have a good debate. Let's take that out in public and let's ask the Canadian people what they think.
But do you think this bill would be unconstitutional? Well, there are some concerns with respect to Section 8 of the Constitution. Now, according to the federal and provincial commissioners, that under Section 8 of the Charter there would be some concerns as to its constitutionality.
Or you're with you're with us, or you're against victims. It seems like the government always tries to cast you guys as the demons.
Well, I want to point out, I'm a father of two, and I have a daughter who's 15 years old and a son who's 5, and I know whose side I'm on. And Vic Taves is hiding behind pornographers, child pornographers, to make these outrageous claims. That is not acceptable to Canadians because he wants to invade the privacy of Canadians, go into their bedrooms, go into their kitchens, and he's hiding behind child pornographers. That's not acceptable to us.
But do you think it's a tactic the government has been using in all of these types of things?
Well, when they want to hide behind something, they'll bring in the boogeyman, and this is not acceptable to us.
But what do you make of the fact that they say it's just information? I think you were mentioning in French that you can pull out of a phone book, a phone number, whatever. I don't know what else is in a phone book these days, but they say that basically it's just straightforward information.
Well, no, this is not a straightforward case. This is the ability of the government to track every step of the way wherever you are, whether you're on a telephone or you're on the internet, and that's not acceptable.
You know, let's just put this in perspective. We have a government that is set to destroy all the gun information in this country that police have been using to protect citizens on the basis that it somehow infringes on the privacy rights of duck hunters. They're so concerned about duck hunters wading around in the swamps in the fall, and yet they would turn around and make it possible to track people in real time as they're going to work, as they're at the shopping center. The government uses privacy rights when it's convenient for them, but they're more than willing to attack and undermine privacy rights when they want to. So they have to be honest with Canadians.
But you make it sound like Vic Taves is going to be sitting there tracking people. Isn't this about the police being able to track people? You talk about it like it's the government, like the whole cabinet's going to be tracking people in their homes or something.
What we've been talking about all along is the government opening up the ability of security forces to demand information on any citizen at any time without a reason, without a warrant. That's serious business.
But it's not Joe